Hello,
Hey,
hello. Hi,
hey!
everyone. This is Dave and Roxanne.
Welcome to another episode of
It's
It's
a
a
new
New
day.
Day,
It's
It's
a
a
new
New You.
you.
If this is the first time you're tuning into our business page, we do this New Days, New You once, twice, sometimes over three times per week. And the goal of this episode is to encourage you, to inspire you that if you had a tough day yesterday, there's always a new day to become a new you, to become all that God created you to be.
Yeah, so let us know where you're tuning in from. I always love to know how global we are in this community. We're originally from Canada, Alberta. And we always start our episodes into a question.
Yeah.
So the question for this for today is, what are the three common mistakes that stop us from achieving our dreams?
Yeah, so for some of you that followed us for a while now, we have been trying to be successful in business for a while, for way over 10 years, and we failed in 24 businesses. And we were just talking about it today and say, what are some of the common things that we did? There's probably more that we did that was a mistake that stopped us from succeeding in those businesses. And those are, we're going to share with you the three today. And I believe they're pretty common for entrepreneurs, right? So just to start, if you're watching this live or replay, what's your wild guess? Comment in the chat. What is your guess? What are those mistakes that you think we made that stop us from going to our next level? So we're just gonna dive into this right away. Our goal is to get this within 10 minutes or long or shorter. Um,
Hello, hello, Janelle, watching from Washington, right? WA.
yeah,
That's
amazing.
Washington. Oh, awesome. Um, so our first one, some of our mistakes is ABD, attention business disorder.
We heard this from one of the trainings that most entrepreneurs have ABD, attention business disorder, which means that you're so fired up, you're so focused, and you're so into your business for a week, for a day, for a month maybe, and then
For a couple
when
of
for a
months.
couple of months, and then you start to struggle, and then you start to look left, you start to look right. It's a disorder, right?
Hmm.
And this was our problem, right?
Yeah, because sometimes when when it gets harder, we will find solutions, ways to make it easier. Like we will tell each other that maybe this business will be easier, or maybe it's cheaper, or they have a better system, they have a better products, right? And we don't push through on the during the struggle. We try to find easier ways
Yeah.
to make it easier for us,
Yeah,
right?
you have to lean into the discomfort. You have to lean into the pain, right? And you've got to have intense focus. The problem was lack of focus, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's common in entrepreneurs because let me tell you, business is not easy. That's just the reality, right? Well, life is not easy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So business is like life. If you don't, lean into discomfort, right, you won't grow. Because what allows you to grow is the discomfort and the challenge you're experiencing in whatever business you're in, right? Allows you. There's a problem because you need to grow to the next level in that business. If not, you're gonna stay You're gonna stay in that area, and then if you decide to go to a different business, you're gonna get stuck in that same
Mm-hmm.
problem and stuck in the same problem. That's what happened to us. We kept jumping from one business to another because it wasn't the business, right? Some of it was the business, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they closed down, but some people were already successful in the business because it was our problem. We started to look left, look like we started to entertain, right? Other opportunities when people reached out to us, right? Especially when they caught us when we were struggling
Yeah.
in our business. Let me ask you, if you're in a business, right? Are you starting to entertain, right, other businesses because you're struggling in your business? You're not unique to that. That's a common problem, right?
Yeah. So what are the solutions that we did, right? So our solution was to respectfully say no, right? When people ask us, to
Mhm.
take a look into it, maybe have a Zoom with us or go to this event,
Coffee meetings.
right? Coffee meetings or anything that will take us away from those focus, from those times for the business, for our dreams, right? We say no. So every time people invites you into something, look at your vision, look at your dreams. Does it align to your vision? Does it align to, to your business? Will it help you, you know get closer to achieving that dream, that particular dream, right? That particular goal. If it doesn't, say no. Even if it's just 30 minutes of your time or 1 hour, it still takes a lot of time, but not really just time or 30 minutes. It takes away your focus, it takes away your pressure, like, because your mind can only process so many things, right? So you really have to protect that, right? So you can say, we when people invite us to something, we always say, if it doesn't, you know if it doesn't align in our values or in our goals in our business, then we say no. Like, you know what, it's
Well, we
it's
said no to everything.
yes. So we will say, and I think it could be good, but it's not for us. We're not interested, we're not open to taking a look at
Yeah,
it.
and so we know it's probably good because you're the one doing that. Good on you. But we're just 100% focused on what we're doing right now, and we know ourselves. We can easily get distracted.
Mm-hmm.
So you know you gotta ask yourself: will this thing that I'm gonna take a look, will it allow me to give me more focus,
Mm-hmm.
or will it take away from my focus? Because you got to think about focus like a laser, right? If it's not laser focused, it cannot cut through steel and stone. It's kind of like I talk about the sun, right? When you go outside the sun, you don't get burned. But if you get a lens which allows that light to focus, it can cut through anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you don't have that kind of focus, it's really hard to succeed in your business. And that was our problem. Our focus went in and out because of the distractions, right?
And now that we're talking about this, it reminded me of some trainings. Like, personal development is a big thing, right? Only, you can also say no to other trainings, right? No
Mm.
to outside trainings. If, like, sometimes there's so many trainings outside, or training, this and that. You have to set, time, and, like, okay, this is my, my time for the business, my time for this particular dream or goals right now. If like, you can do that later on, right? Have that focus, intense focus, so that, you can only, like, study something, right? Study, like, have that specific training rather than go to a different training.
So the first one was ABD, attention, which is the lack of focus, right?
That's our mistake.
That was our first mistake. The solution was to respectfully say no to a lot of things. A season of no. For us, it was a 4-year season of no, right? Especially because we've been around, right? People, when there's a new business and new companies being launched, they always reach out to us. We said no, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, but no, right? No is a sentence. No with a period, right? You have to learn to roll your tongue. No, right? You gotta say no, right? That's the first one. That was the first huge mistake we make. The second is not knowing the real numbers
Mhm.
of the business, right? This is huge because a lot of people will think that they're working hard, but it's actually not enough to get them to the level that they want,
Mhm.
right? Or the level they're looking up into within the company or within the platform, right? If you're looking at the top earners and you're like, oh my God, I did two exposures this week, right? Wow, whoa, awesome, right? Like you did like a three exposure this week, or
Three
five,
leads or
three
four.
leads or 4 leads, and you think like, wow, that's huge. It's a big number. And if you don't really know what the real numbers are, like you're just really like basically, it's kind of like you are playing a game, but you don't know what the target is.
Yeah.
Like what the like you're just shooting, like unknowingly shooting things and don't even know, right? And we didn't know the numbers for the longest time because we thought like, what is happening? We think like we're working so hard, all these appointments, and no results, right? It's
Yeah.
not like we're looking at other people like, how are they doing this? Like we didn't know the numbers. That's just the thing, right?
Yeah, I think that's our mistake because we get so excited, right? Especially after certain, meetings, certain events, right? Certain training, right? And then we will believe in ourselves, right? And we will do the work, the activities that will push us forward to the next goal or to achieving that dream, right? But then we didn't realize that it's not enough, right? It's not enough to have, just maybe 10 leads or 10 exposures in 1 week, right? Like, we thought it's gonna get us closer, but now that we learned so much and we apply it in our online business, now we realize that you've got to really know the real numbers in the
So
business.
that
it
you're not,
takes
yeah.
it takes longer than you expected. It takes a lot of effort than you expected. Sometimes we just think, oh, it takes them only 6 months. It takes them only 1 month to get that results, right? But you don't know what activities they've done.
Yeah. So the solution is in the business we're in. The reason why we're able to succeed is we studied the top earners and reverse engineered their numbers, right? When we started, I think like we started in October of 2018. Around December of that year, I started all the top earners within our community, and I reverse engineered what they did, the
Mhm.
numbers, right? So that we are like we are talking about reality, not just like some sort of crazy thing,
Positive
positive
thinking.
thinking, and so we reverse engineer. So in our particular business, we found out that they had a certain number of sales, right? The common top earner had a certain number of sales. And then we reverse engineered it, and we found out that in order to reach that within a year, you need to have 10 leads per day, right?
Not per week.
Not per week, but per day. So if you now have a target, at least you can work on it, right?
Mhm.
You're like, oh, I'm one today, I'm two today. So I'm not within a year. I'm not in the right pace to get there, right?
Yeah.
So we had to find a way. We started to ask questions how they do it, and we found out that they had a certain budget. All this stuff, right? We were clear on what we're trying to hit. Some people are just doing things. We were that. We were unknowingly doing things, right?
Mhm.
That it's gonna take us years because we didn't know the numbers, right? Like the pace that we're going, or in other businesses, it would take us a long time, or we will never even hit it,
Mhm.
right? Because we're not going in the right pace, or we didn't know the numbers, right? So the second common mistake most people, especially in direct sales and in this type of world, they will just, you know, show up to the meetings, one here, one
Or post
there,
there, right?
force
Like,
one there, right?
yeah.
And in our online business, for example, same thing. You gotta know the numbers if you want to hit a certain amount of income. If your goal is 10,000 a month, what's the numbers? Reverse engineer to get that, right? So
Yeah, like because some people they, especially with the online, right? People just keep posting social media, right? I post every day. I do this, I do that, but how many leads came into your website? How
mm,
many, people looking into it? Like how many views and all that stuff? If you measure it, right, then okay. Like I think some people fail in this business or any business because they have the wrong expectations, right? So having the right expectations that with knowing the numbers, it will actually help you get closer to achieving your dreams.
so the key is to study, right?
Yeah.
And when you know what the real numbers are, now you have a real target,
Hmm.
right? A realistic target, right? To hit, and then you can at least work towards it and work hard to get to that point. For us, it was 10 leads per day.
Yeah.
In the offline world, that's called 10 exposures a day, right? That was kind of our number that we wanted to hit.
Hello, hello, Vilma. Hi, coaches from Calgary, Alberta. Awesome. Hi, Estrella. From my break in a rainy afternoon, Calgary. Yes. Watching from Alberta, Canada. Tanya. Awesome. We have a lot of people from Alberta
I
today.
love it because of the time, I believe.
Yeah. Entertain. Gabriela. Coaches Roxanne Day watching from Papua New Guinea. Awesome. Awesome. From Kuwait, Japs. Thanks for tuning in.
Brilliant analogy.
Brilliant analogy with the sun and
The,
focus.
the last thing that was our mistake, again, there are probably more mistakes that we did, but these are some of the things that came to our mind that if we didn't do this would have allowed us to go to the next level. And the last one is the lack of urgency,
Mm-hmm.
right? Lack of urgency. What I mean by that is like like sometimes we do find out like what it takes to do it, but we just don't have the urgency to do it, right? And the reason why is this, right? We were unknowingly comfortable in our situation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And here's the challenge, especially if you're earning okay income or good income in your jobs, right? And you want to become financially free, or you want to get out of your job, you're unknowingly comfortable in your situation. Many people are like that.
Yeah.
We were like that, and why were we uncomfortable in a situation?
Well, during the past, prior to the online business 4 years ago, 10 years before that, we were living we were managing a property, right, 32 unit property, and we as an incentive we got free rent,
Yeah.
right? So we're not paying rent at that time. We don't have our baby, right? So really we don't have enough expenses.
Yeah.
So what we did is, we're pursuing our dreams, we're achieving we're working on our business, I think almost every day, right? But because we don't have that urgency, I remember one of our mentor that we worked with before, she said that our problem was the lack
No,
of urgency.
she said, you guys are skillful.
You guys are
You can speak. You
skillful.
know how to do the things that, but you don't put enough activity because you don't have the urgency because you're comfortable
Mhm.
in your situation,
And I
right?
really wonder what that means.
Mm.
I think what it means is that, if it works, it's good. If it doesn't work, it's okay, right? We're comfortable with the life that we have. We're not really in a hurry to make those dreams come true.
So
A lot
here,
of people are in that
so
situation.
here's an example of urgency, right? If somebody puts a gun in your daughter's or your spouse's head and says, you know, you need to come up with $5,000, or I'm gonna blow her head or his head in the next 30 days. Will that create you urgency or not? It will absolutely create you urgency.
Hmm.
Will you come up with 5,000? You will within 30 days because you have urgency, right?
Hmm.
And see, here's the problem for us and maybe for a lot of people is that, earning the extra 10,000, 5,000 to quit your job, there's no urgency
Yeah.
because you're unknowingly
Comfort.
comfortable in your situation, right?
Especially if you like your job,
Hmm.
or like you're not really stressed with your work. Like, how can you create that urgency, right?
So, and here's the thing, we always had this, and this is not a good place to be in any business. Yeah, we had high expectation, but low
Low
commitment,
commitments.
right? We want to become a top earner, we want to be there, we want to do this stuff.
We want to earn six
Yeah,
figures.
but our commitment wasn't there because of the lack of urgency. And if you are in a business and you want to, you want to enjoy and become, you have high expectation but you have low commit, that's not a good place to be because you always compare yourself to other people. I've been in here a year, we started the same time, how
Yeah.
come she's this far? The difference is because that other person has high commitment. What I mean by that is they show up to things, they do the work, they take massive action, right?
Hmm.
Doesn't matter how long they've been in the business,
Yeah.
you've been in the business, even if you've started the same time. The reason is because they have high commitment, right?
High activities, high
High activities,
actions,
high
a lot of
action,
actions.
a lot of action. If somebody tells them, this is what it requires, 10 leads a day, right? They will find a way. They're urgent enough to find a way to do that, right? So how did we create urgency? Well, here's the thing, life gave us the urgency, right?
We were
We
forced.
were forced, right? uh, so what happened to us is that in October 2018,
No, February
I
2018.
mean, yeah, we started the online business, but in February, before that, February 2018, right? That comfortable place of not paying rent, right? We were given an eviction notice and they said, you know what, you could stay here, but we don't need you anymore. So
Hmm.
we didn't have that safety blanket anymore of no rent. We have to find a way to do it. So we were pressed to the wall somehow, right? So for you, you have to somehow create an urgency in your mind, right? For us, it didn't shift until that. Like
Yeah.
now we really had to grow or shrink, right? Grow means that we have to grow our income, which means to grow ourselves, right? We had to learn to work hard and do something. And that's what allowed us. We had urgency, right?
Yeah, like technically we lost that job, right? We lost that opportunity. So like for the past, I think we've been managing that for over 9 years, almost 9 years, right? And we were very comfortable, right? So we were forced to get to grow from that. But a lot of people, maybe you have experienced layoff or you lost that job, and that's why that's the start of, what, I have to do something. But a lot of people, after they get another job or they get comfortable, they stop, pursuing their dreams and goals, and they become comfortable. So really, what we did is what really helped us, like, during that time is, we became gazelle intense, right? And we learned it from the Total Money Makeover book from Dave Ramsey. We talked about that in our previous episodes, like the Financial Peace University that we've gone through, and it's just basically really intense for a short period of time, maybe 18 to 24 months, 2 years of just being focused, being intense in achieving those dreams, of for us paying off those debts that we
You know,
accumulated, right?
so the urgency for us was, now that we were in $86,000 consumer debt,
Yeah.
the urgency was this: we've got to pay this off in 18 to 24 months, and we're gonna be intense about it for the next 18 to 24 months, and then we're gonna be done with it, right?
Hmm.
You know, intensity. They call it gazelle intense because, in the Amazon or in the wild, right? There's two animals, the cheetah and the gazelle, right? The cheetah is going, is hungry for lunch, but the gazelle is running for their lives because the cheetah, is going after it. But here's the amazing thing about this, and I shared this before, is that the cheetah, is the fastest mammal on dry land, right? It runs 3 times faster than a gazelle, but on a chase, out of, I believe, 14, right? It can only catch one
Hmm.
out of the 14, even though it runs faster. Why? Because the gazelle has the intensity. It's running for its life, right? It requires a certain amount of intensity, focus to be successful in your business. And we had that, intensity, for the first 18 to 24 months of the business, that allowed us to get here, combined with the other two things of, saying respectfully, saying no, right? Knowing the real numbers, and then we added the
Yeah.
intensity that created urgency for us, allowed us to get to a place that we've never been for the last over 10 years of trying to be successful in business, right?
Yeah. So, ask yourself, maybe, out of the three common mistakes that we've experienced, maybe one of them you're experiencing that right now, or you've experienced it before. Comment below, what is that, mistakes that, you can learn from and start applying maybe differently now, right? Maybe knowing the real numbers, right? Or respectfully saying no, or maybe this is the time for you to, for the next 6 7 months of the year of 2023, you're going to be gazelle intense for your dreams, for yourself, for your family, right? What is that it requires intensity in your life? It's just a short period of time that you want to achieve because you've been trying hard, over this, past many months, many years now, right? But this, for us, it helps a lot, right?
That's right. So we always end with a verse. We wanted to do it 10 minutes. We couldn't do it, right? We went double, in fact, because we want to give you so much value. So the verse for today is,
From Proverbs 10, verse 4, it says, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth.
you gotta, combine, that intensity with diligence, right? Because
Hmm.
that's what will bring you wealth. And again, this is biblical principle, right? You cannot just you cannot just be skillful. You have to add diligence in that
Yeah.
skills, which is hard work, which is toil. I mean, you gotta work it, right? And
Mhm.
that's what the verse says, and that's what we did. And
Yeah, we were talking earlier, like we're one like we can just say we're lazy, right? We
yeah,
were lazy probably, like we don't, we're dreamers, but we were lazy before,
we don't
right?
have the action
We
behind it.
don't have that enough actions. We take actions, but a lot of people, I think, is just not enough, not knowing the real numbers and not being intense, gazelle intense in
I
their
hope we gave you
dreams.
value. We went 10 minutes over time that we wanted to, but we want to give you value. I hope that helped. If you know of someone you think that can get value from this, do share it. We appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. That is another episode of
It's
It's a
a
New
new
Day,
day,
It's
it's
a
a
New
new
You.
you.
God bless
God bless
everybody.
you. Bye.